Russia appears to have gotten its tactical act together. There's reporting from ISW on a Ukrainian military observer who says, look, the Russians have gotten into a pattern, right? And ISW says, yeah, what this guy says matches what we've seen. And this pattern shows a certain level of competence that, quite frankly, we haven't seen from the Russians. So what is this pattern? And the pattern they've identified is that what the Russians are doing is first they use drones to recon Ukrainian positions. Then they come in with glide bombs, right? Hitting them with glide bombs are these aircraft-launched bombs that they can launch outside of the range of short-range air defenses, and they're big. They're thousands of pounds of explosives and big boom. Then the Russians move on to artillery, right? They hit the position with more of that ordnance, with artillery ordnance. And once the positions are weakened, they bring in small units, right? So the ground component for this is going to be small. It's going to be light or lightly mechanized infantry, squad, platoon, or company sized, right? So not much tanks, right? They may have tanks in a fire support role, but what we're seeing is mainly an infantry attack that can, they can sneak up and launch the attack from 50 to 150 meters. They need to get close, right? So now you're in a knife fight with the Ukrainians who have been hit with glide bombs, hit with artillery. And if the Russians take the position, they then fortify it against counterattack, right? And that fortification is essentially the rinse in a rinse-repeat operation, because that's what this is, right? This is basically a small-scale rinse-repeat kind of thing. You do it, you repeat it everywhere, and you make very small incremental attacks. Now, this is a tactic, and ISW says, look, we do see Russians attacking in different places in different size units. They're not only doing this, but this is what they seem to be doing the most of. And it works, right? This seems to work for them. It nullifies a lot of the Ukrainian advantages in technology, right? You launch glide bombs, so you're outside of the short-range air defense because NATO has given them a lot of very good short-range air defense. They're able to use artillery because the ammo shortage has diminished Ukraine's ability to do counter battery fire. Then you attack from short range with light forces. You're not you're not doing the massed armor attacks that they have tried and failed miserably at places like Vuhledar. You're doing something with a small unit. And so, all those javelins and NLAWs, those aren't helping. And you acquire a gain, right? And you keep pressure on the Ukrainian army up and down. This tactic, and so it appears they have figured out what they can do. This tactic, however, honestly, it's an evolved World War I tactic, right? It's and clearly we have the drones and better intelligence and fire direction, but really this is very reminiscent of the French firepower doctrines that came in towards the later part of World War I. And kind of this cautious approach to things is very similar to what the French did. And so this is not something that is going to achieve a breakthrough. This is not something that is going to achieve a battlefield victory, right? It is something that's going to work, is within their capabilities. Like I say, it nullifies a lot of Ukrainian advantages that they currently have, takes advantage of a main disadvantage the Ukrainians have right now with the ammo shortage. But what's going to determine the ultimate success of this is the strategy that's being used at the higher levels that this is a part of, and I'll comment on that in another video.